joining me. Welcome. My name is Angela Searcy, and I began in education in 1990. I have a BA in English and Secondary Education, a Master of Science in Child Development, a doctorate in education, but most importantly, I'm a mom of 4 children ages 14 to 24. And you're joining me here today to hear some strategies, ideas, and supports for social and emotional skills during the COVID-19 pandemic that we're all going through. So first of all, I want to just say good, awesome. You are already on the right track by joining me here today. And whether you're an educator or you are a parent, I want us to think about 5 C's when it comes to thinking about social and emotional supports. Couple of things I also want to share with you is that I'm going to be sharing actually 7 links and tons of strategies throughout our time together. So I'll actually share the links. I'll copy and paste that in the chat box at the end of our time together. So it'll be the last thing that I share. And if you have questions, go ahead and type those in. I know there's like a chat mechanism. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste all of those questions, and I will be answering those on social media and definitely giving you my contact information. So back to the 5 C's for social emotional supports. The first C is correct. We want to make sure the channel has several playlists. And one of the playlists is actually for resources and supports for educators and parents. And a couple of those first videos that are in that YouTube playlist are actually giving you correct information, accurate information about how to talk to your children as you go through all these changes. And it's also correct and good information. There's a lot of information out there, but not all of it's accurate. So I already kind of vetted everything and looked up a few, videos for you on YouTube that I felt were accurate and correct. Now, another C is actually thinking about clear. So making sure that you age group that you're working with or that you're a parent to. So I tried to share a couple of videos that were trusted resources. Like we said, make sure it's correct, from PBS Kids. One is from a hospital about questions that you can, kind of questions that children ask. It shows children in the video asking those questions. So here's a couple of key points. You don't need to answer everything. Okay? You don't need to know it all. Answer questions as they come up. Some children will ask you very specific questions. When will I see my friends again? What is social distancing? Where I have videos and I'm going to share tons of other resources for you to answer those questions. Other questions will be more like, can we go out to eat, or what are we going to eat now, or what's going on with that toilet paper? So you don't want to, bombard a child with all the information. You want to think about the balance when you're at home, maybe turning off the news for specific times during the day. And don't forget that children, when they see something over and over, especially young children, it takes an emotional toll on all of us. But also when children see something in the news, for example, an ambulance or a specific story in the news that's continuously repeated, they think that actual story is happening over and over again. So they don't understand that it's the same story that was actually earlier today. They think that exact thing is actually happening another time. So we just want to make sure that we have balance in our homes. Okay. So I have some information to make things clear, depending on the age group that you have, or multiple age groups. Easy, but it is really hard to implement. Sending that smiley face text can be really helpful to another parent to just get them out of the bed in the morning. Or if you're an educator, sending something like that to your students, or having something to get up to that you look forward to. I can't tell you how much that I look forward to just having some fun time with you all today. So, having something to get up for that could be funny or silly, or just getting up for a dance. It doesn't have to be, something special. Kids love anything. Even doing for older kids a TikTok video with your mom or dad, just to get them up and going in the morning. So be consistent, because in these really uncertain and chaotic times, consistency is so key. We want to make something predictable. Have you ever had a boss that's unpredictable? Do you remember how frustrating that was? I do. So if you're a parent, you are the CEO at your home. And you want to make sure that it's very consistent. So that's one thing. Our next C, consistency. So awesome. Now we have a couple more C's to go through. And another C is also, and we ended as consistency, but also calm. Remember to stay calm. And I'll give you some tools for that. And lastly is stay connected. And we'll talk about how we can do that during this time. So as I mentioned, I have a YouTube channel, which is under my name, Angela Searcy, where you can see a playlist for COVID-19, but also you can see tons of playlists. I have about 40 or 45 videos just in the COVID-19 playlist that has stories and, families talking about setting limits or following directions. Oh man, come on, everybody. Who's having children that are not following their directions? And you're trying to work through that. So it gives tons of information, but also activities and strategies. Also, in addition to that playlist, I actually have other playlists, about 30 of them. So some of them are content such as literacy ideas, or they're math ideas and activities, and you can story times. So you can go in and get all of that great information. And, the playlist will really be able to support you with just one. But I totally have, like I said, about 30 different playlists, and some of them have different numbers of videos. For example, I have a social emotional playlist, and that playlist has a total of about 75 different videos and activities to support your child during this time and their social emotional development at this difficult time. And they're for all ages. So I know that, we have a variety probably joining us today. All right. So let me tell you about some other resources that I'm going to share with you at the end. So stay with me. I'm going to copy all of my resources in the chat at the end. So CDC, correct information, accurate. So the CDC actually has an entire page called Essential Parenting. And oh man, it is some great resources about how to deal with tantrums, and again, getting children to follow your directions, or making meaningful routines like brushing your teeth. So the CDC has that whole Parent Essentials page that has articles, videos, and I put a lot of their videos into my channel so you could easily find them in that COVID-19 playlist. A third link that I'm going to share with you comes from Child Trend. Child Trend shares this whole page full of information for social emotional supports. And the nice thing is actually created by trauma experts. So again, it kind of links you to tons and tons of other resources. Some you already know about, like PBS Kids, but it's a wealth of information for you. And that's really tried and true, and that you have really good information. So let's see, we've gone through a few links, 1, 2, and 3. We've gone through some C's. Let's dig in further. So one thing that I mentioned, in addition to having information that's developmentally appropriate, is staying calm. And I know that again is easy to say, but hard to do. So when we talk about children of all ages really respond to concrete tools that help them explore abstract ideas like emotions. So one of the things that I use is, I don't know if you can see this here, but it says scribbled, cranky, and with a sad face. And this is cranky cream. And any lotion or cream can become cranky when you write in permanent marker, whoops, I dropped it, cranky on it. So use what's already around your house and transform that into a tool, a social emotional tool. So when you see whether they're 2 or 12 or 5 or 15, taking out that cranky lotion and saying, oh, I think we need some of this, rubbing it on your fingers, getting that smell. 1, it helps your child. 2, it helps you. It helps me. So if your child, which they may throw it at you, think about working with you, I need some cranky lotion. So just something around your house. Another one that I have created, if you can see right here, it's called Calm Cologne. Calm Cologne is just any spray bottle that you write calm on it, and you put water and like some lavender extract or vanilla extract, or you kind of spray it. Don't spray it on your child. Don't be calm, but spray in the air, and it just gives a nice smell to help us to calm ourselves. So Calm Cologne, and make up your own. These are just some ideas that I came up with, but feel free to go through many emotions. Give me some, do you guys like these ideas? Tell me in the chat if you guys, give me some feedback here. Tell me if these things are helpful. Just things around the house where you can try to support that calming for you as well as your child, or sharing this idea with those you work with. If you're like, I don't have any of this, I'm trying to save my lotion, then feel free to do a worry waterfall. And a worry-free waterfall is just getting into the sink, basically. Any sink is a waterfall. So actually, kind of, again, taking something that's an everyday, mundane kind of part of your house, such as your sink, or putting on a bathing suit and getting in the shower where you have a worry-free waterfall, which is technically just a shower in your bathing suit, can also give calming. It gives a chance to just regroup, and these things redirect. So calming bags, worry bags, you could use bubbles, water. You can literally use an empty container and say that, and children have such great imaginations that they'll go with you with that. So even teenagers, of course, my teenager says, okay, boomer. And raise your hand if you're if you can relate. Give me an amen inside the chat box. But if you're feeling that same way, they may resist some of these things. But if you're consistent and do it over time, just like that, exercising isn't something that works right away. You have to be consistent with it. Then that can also give that support. Keep doing it. Even if they reject you doing it. Another secret sauce is singing. Yes, singing. Music of any kind. It's a great wake up to get up and wake up to a dance party. It's great for consistency to sing, like we're about to eat our food, eat our food, eat our food. Just kind of singing that, especially for the littles to know it's time to eat. And it kind of gets them engaged. Also thinking about singing directions, especially for young ones, but teenagers, they could have the same issues with them. Singing directions can help children to attune to those directions. Another one is just singing about emotions. When you feel real mad and you want to roar, take a deep breath, right? And count to 4. I shared a great social story in my, YouTube playlist where, I put stories about when I'm mad, or a Tucker Turtle is also a great story where he gets really mad and frustrated and he has to count to 5. Also, when you're doing deep breathing, blow something, so like, take a tissue and kind of blow into that as you're doing the deep breathing. uh, Make it really hands-on and interactive. Singing just doesn't work for young children, like I said. Singing something like, when you're mad and you know it, walk away. When you're mad and you know it, walk away. When they're trying to attack their sibling after you've been in the house. Who's been in the house? You're tight, close together. Come on, tell me, folks, in the chat box, if you're just like, oh my gosh, why is this place seeming like it's getting smaller and smaller? So singing those songs can kind of redirect the energy in the room, and kind of make things silly and fun. And even turning on music and just doing a dance party for a few minutes can diffuse some of those conflicts that are gonna arise when we're in situations like this, right? It's chaotic, it could be overwhelming. So I hope that that's helpful. Now, I mentioned conflicts, right? So I have a link that I'm going to share. This is number 4 now. And this link, I think this is number 4 or 5 in our links. And one is just about dealing with conflicts. So it has some resources for kind of, what do you do when those siblings get into those arguments after they've been together, but seeing no one else, over time? So it talks about, how to help them do some of that conflict resolution. Also, one thing that helps me, instead of trying to figure out who had the toy first or who had this first, is to ask, how are you feeling right now? What a great question. It's a question that's not always intuitive, as a parent, because you're just like, stop it, But educators can probably contest to this, is sometimes when you just say, what are you feeling right now? Why do you feel that way? And what could we do to make it better? Can be a great way to resolve a conflict. So if everyone's going to see it from their own perspective. So that link, which I think actually is number 5, gives resources for conflict resolution that could work for a variety of ages. Number 4, I think I skipped, actually. So I also have a link to a site, and the first words of that site you're going to love. And it is called, the first words in the link is challenging behavior. And so you're going to love this link that once I'm going to put it in the chat box at the end of our time together. And like I said, as people are joining in with me now, waking up, that remember, I'm going to share these links at the end in the comments, and also kind of copy and paste your questions. So I see your greetings, good morning, but also type in your questions. I'll actually keep those and share those on social media after our time together. Is, just having tools. And this challenging behavior website is wonderful. Some educators already use it. It is a challenging behavior pyramid model. If some educators are very familiar with that. And it has tools for like dealing with biting, dealing with tantrums. So it has great articles. It also has tangible stories, such as the Tucker Turtle story that I mentioned, where you can download it for free. Everything that I'm sharing is free. There's no cost to anything. And you can download that story and read it to your child. So there's tons of information there as well. So I hope that I'm giving you a lot of good information that you can use, after our time together. So we talked about, being, keeping ourselves calm, de-escalating conflicts and situations. Let's see. Also thinking about, we talked about fighting with siblings, and that's not the only folks that are fighting. So if you are a parent that is really struggling with getting your child to follow through on some of the e-learning activities that might be expected at your school, you are not alone, okay? I'm right here with you. So another hand raise. And to complete a task is, for example, if you have dice, like if you have a board game around, roll the dice. And roll the dice is how much you have to do something, or a time. Like if you roll, then you have to get up and you have to do the dishes in 5 minutes. Okay. So roll the dice, and then you have to do two math problems. Roll the dice, and you get, whatever number, and you have to take 3 bites of your food. Questions that come up, put those in the chat. Sometimes families are like, well, how do I manage all this e-learning and all these tasks? And though that's one great way to support some of that task completion. Another idea is sometimes not being as directive. I know, again, it's that children don't always respond to directives. So I always say connect before you direct. Connect with a song. Before you turn off the iPad that they're looking at, touch their hand. Ask them about what they're watching on their iPad. Talk with them and say, in 5 minutes, we're going to turn this off and do something else. And then, as you chat with them and talk with them and kind of do that countdown, like, oh my gosh, I see your mouse is doing this. Oh, wow. In a few minutes, we'll turn it off. But oh, look at that. You're kind of making a connection to help them follow through with that direction that's going to be coming, which they're going to have to turn that iPad off in 5 minutes to do schoolwork or just to take a break. Breaks are key. Whatever breaks you can take, even if it's just a silly break. It's time for a silly break. It's time for a dance break. It's time for a jump break. If you're crowded in the house, then you can kind of turn that into a positive if you can, as much as possible. I know it's not easy. This is an obstacle course in here. You guys got stuff everywhere. Well, then it's an obstacle course. Let's time how fast you can get from one side of the room to the other side of the room, just to lighten the mood and to keep us going during this kind of frustrating time. Now, we talked about, compliance. It's another C. But I want to kind of talk a little bit more, kind of finish us up with connections and staying connected. So what I want you all to think about is using tech to connect. So some of the educators that I know are actually connecting with students on Zoom or chats or text and sending ideas. That's wonderful. Connect in any way that you can on the phone, video chatting. There's other ways that you can connect. A couple of things with some of these apps I'm going to share. SNS. Okay, safe and supervised when it comes to some of these apps and knowing what's age appropriate. But one is Marco Polo. Marco Polo is this app where you can actually, it's kind of like a video walkie-talkie. And then you can kind of like share information back and forth through Marco Polo. And so I'm actually going to share a link to about, 5 or 6 different fun apps. Marco Polo is fun. It's free. You can download that to have that walkie-talkie. Another one is House Party. So House Party is another free app where you can video conference, play games together. So House Party is another great app. Always remember safety and supervised with all these apps. Heads Up is a game. So Heads Up is a fun game that you could actually play with your children or play with others. Thinking about having those video parties or video play dates. Tech is so awesome to connect. Also, there are ways if perhaps families that are low-income families that is called Internet Essentials. And Internet Essentials will allow them to get free internet, yes, and apply for free internet. And I think it goes until for the next 60 to 90 days. I'm not sure of the time on that and if it'll be extended. So for Internet Essentials, you can just go ahead and submit, if you have a Head Start, you would put in the Head Start name and what the classroom is in order to get access to those great resources to stay connected and using technology. All right. Well, I hope that, you all got some great ideas, move, dance. If you have, for example, worksheets that you're doing, add manipulatives to them, count these you, but we're going to stay connected and stay in touch. So I gave you my YouTube channel, but also you can connect with me. Again, my name is Angela Searcy. That's Searcy. And you can connect with me on social media. I have a Facebook page called Simple Solutions Educational Services. Simple Solutions Educational Services, where you can connect, and I'm sharing tons of information. If anybody's on my page, every day I'm sharing information for families as well as for educators. One also has a blog. Oh my gosh, I was looking at information for snow days, and it's just tons. And this is just the beginning of these Kaplan Lives. So I hope that we'll continue to have good conversations with each other. Ahead and copy and paste for you those great resources. So I'm going to put those in the chat right now, along with my name, so you know how to spell it. But I just want to do that. I just want to say thank you to everybody. You are doing wonderful just joining in on this and answering those on social media. So right now, as I speak, I actually just shared, or I'm sharing. Here we go. Okay, I think did it share? Let's see. Here, I hope it's shared. The links here. And I'm glad that I'm seeing some people saying, great, Raven, fantastic ideas. Kiosha, awesome. Thank you all for joining me today. And I hope to see you again. All right, take care. Let's see. And I'm just going to make sure that what I